stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burning Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Welcome back. It's been a little bit. I had got to adjust my camera, so hold on just a tick. Okay, we're back. I think that's better. Anyway, welcome back. It's been a hot minute since I've done a solo episode. It's been a hot minute since I've really done much of anything podcast wise, and I figured it was good enough time as any to jump back into it. And while I'm still working on some of those longer projects, those take a while, and I'm nowhere close to being done with those. But I have made some progress, not a lot, some. But it's been a long. It's been a 6 months. I'll tell you that it has been that. So, anyways, I figured the easiest way to jump back in, get our collective feet wet, dip our collective toes into this slime pool. We're gonna go back with the Friggin Farm Ranch Report. Easiest way to, if I can't think of a topic, I can just read the news. Be forewarned, this episode is a little lax in preparation. However, I think it'll get the job done, and we'll get better as we go. I did put this together with the use of artificial intelligence. Actually, just went to a conference, it was an educators conference, but it was on AI. Here this weekend, went with my wife, and since it was for educators, put on by some educator group out of Nevada. Very liberal group, but it wasn't the teachers union. Anyway, so it was very, very classroom focused, of course, being for educators, but being now a stay-at-home homeschool dad for the time being, there was some relevant stuff. And then artificial intelligence in general is some pretty fascinating stuff, terrifying, but also fascinating, kind of like the internet. Internet's a great thing when used properly. Most of the time it's not. And AI is just the internet, just more, it seems like. Anyways, that being said, I had it put together a little outline for me, and I did check it over. And I think it did a pretty decent job. So it's not very in depth. So if I don't feel qualified to speak on it very in depth, I won't. And or I'll at least preface that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You guys know how this works by now. And if you don't, well, buckle up, because this is the Friggin Farm Ranch Report. And this is March 10th, 2026. You'll be listening to this March 11th, so maybe a little bit behind, but we got cattle markets, we got grain and fertilizer, we got a Dicamba ruling. Gonna cover some wildfires briefly, and then we're gonna tie it all together with the Iran. It's not a war if you listen to the administration, but it sure seems like a war. Anyways, we'll talk about that, how that all relates back to ag and the cattle markets and what we do here out in the flyover country. I'm now on the west. I'm not on the coast, but I'm out west in the Great Basin, and well, it's not really middle America. It's closer to the coast, but it's still very much flyover country. And yeah, we'll kind of talk about how all that ties into flyover country. So we got cattle markets, and so remember, this is all AI generated, so it's a little wonky. I do apologize. Sale barn reality. We got grain, Iran, and fertilizer shock, dicamba and EPA regs, and then we got wildfires in Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. Starting off with the cattle markets, fed cattle are at near almost 240 live, 380 dressed. Feeder indices running in the mid 360s. Light placements and starting to see some heifers retained. It's going to tighten the beef supply, but holding back heifers, that means you're going to have more calves on the ground next year, and hopefully you're going to have some more feeder cattle in the market with a greater supply. But I think we're still a little ways away from that. But it's been a wild ride in the cattle market, and I've been a little bit away from it for the last 6 months. So I've been watching from afar, which even further from afar than I normally was. But now we're into some really wild territories. This is again, this is AI, so we'll have to do some revamping do a little better. What do you say? I do a little better vetting on my slideshows next time. But Packers finally breathing again on margins, tight numbers, but inputs still chewing through profits. And so looks good versus on paper versus ranch reality. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. So anyway, I was listening to Corbett Wall earlier. Still some really, really high prices. But with all the disturbances around the world, fuel prices are back up. Let's see this. We'll keep on going through. I'll come back to all of that. The cattle markets, I'll have to do a lot better job bringing it to you. I'll try to do another episode tomorrow afternoon, and we'll have a better handle on the cattle prices. Corn's in the mid 4s, beans in the upper 11s. Exports were decent despite Brazil's had some heavy rains, wiped out a lot of their crops, and then the acres may shift away from corn into other crops because of the whole Straits of Hormuz, Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, all that stuff, particularly the Straits of Hormuz, right there around Iran. So I want to say it's something like 80% of the world's trade goes through the Suez Canal, which you enter the Suez Canal through the Straits of Hormuz. Let me pull up a map real quick, and we'll take a look. Okay, now we're back with the Straits of Hormuz. So if you over here on the map, if you can look at my little cursor here, we got the Arabian Sea, India, Iran is up here, and we have what's called the Strait of Hormuz, which is right here. This the Gulf of Oman, Strait of Hormuz is right through here, and so if you look around the Persian Gulf here and the Strait of Hormuz, you've got Iran, Kuwait, Iraq, Bahrain, Qatar, the UAE, Oman, Dubai. Yemen's over here. And then when you zoom back out, all that oil comes out of here. Then it comes back around here. And this is the Gulf of Aden. and you have Somalia. That's where all the pirates are. And then you got the Yemenis over here, the Houthis, that shut down this little strait right here. And I'm not sure what the Bab al Mandab Strait. But that feeds into the Red Sea, which then feeds up into the Suez Canal up here in Egypt. And 80% of I think I don't recall exactly the number of the percentage number of global travel that goes right through here, but it's a lot, because if they don't go through there, then they've got to go all the way around the Cape of South Africa, Cape Town, much like in the northern hemisphere, or in the western hemisphere, where we used to have to sail all the way, either sail down here to Panama and then take a little hike across the isthmus, or sail all the way around the Cape of Good Hope down here, the southern tip of South America, and then back up. It's a long ways. So that's why we built the Panama Canal back in the early 1900s. We talked about that in previous episodes. And then we also talked about the Suez Canal back in the COVID days, when a tanker got lodged, and then they had that little. It looked little compared to that tanker, but it was a giant excavator trying to push that thing over. So anyways, the Gulf shipping is snarled because not only is Iran they have fired missiles to Iraq. I don't know if they've done Syria yet, but Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Jordan. I don't know if they hit Lebanon. I know they hit Israel. And so anyway, all those missiles are going over the Persian Gulf and over the Arabian Peninsula, and all these ships are going through here are at risk of being shelled by the Iranians, or being pulled over by us, and depending on who they belong to. So because of that, Lloyd's of London, which is the main shipping insurance company throughout the world, is not insuring ships that go through there. Trump has been almost begging ships to start moving oil through there. Meanwhile, the nitrogen prices here in the U.S. are like 40% higher, and because that's like 20% of the global urea trade is stuck here at sea, either having to be rerouted or just kind of stuck in limbo while this Iran thing's going on. So fertilizer, fuel, and interest are all elevated. And feed costs feed straight into all that. Cattle break evens, that's weird. I'm gonna do a lot better job on these slides next episode. This is it's not bad, but it's not great. Risk is up even with strong prices. So even though there's really good cattle market prices, it's like the cattle market is finally kind of catching up in price to everything else. So that being said, even though you got really good cattle prices right now your fertilizer is way up. So whether that's you personally on your outfit for hay or row crops, but mostly for feed prices, which and then fuel prices just feed everything. That feeds inflation. It's kind of like the not unemployment. What do you call minimum wage? Like every time you raise the minimum wage, all the minimum wage jobs are now at a higher level. So therefore, all the middle wage jobs are at a higher level. Or if they're not, everything rises up. So I'm not sure what California's minimum wage is, but it's substantially higher than most of the country, and everything there is substantially higher priced. Um, the interest rates, the Trump has been at war with Jerome Powell for a while now, and he's almost out. But they have been trying to. If you remember, they raised interest rates quite a bit during the Biden presidency to try to get inflation under control, and now they brought a couple cuts to interest rates, and now they're holding steady because, well, shit's getting more expensive again. And if they lower interest rates now, then you could risk another bout of like giant inflation, possibly leading to hyperinflation of your currency. So we're in a real precarious spot right now, and Donald Trump has turned out to be like every other politician in our lifetime and loves to spend some money that we don't have. So that is also going to lead to more inflation. So all of this deal here in the Strait of Hormuz, this Iran deal is going to have some real ripples across the world, and it doesn't. I don't know. I really don't know how long this thing's going to take, and I want to be optimistic. And since we are not really at war, but kind of at war, I'm an American, so I'm rooting for the Americans. So I hope we fuck them up real bad. But also, I hope we get it done real quick. And if it looks like we're going to get sucked in real deep, we just cut tail now and call it good and like say, "Whoops, that one got out of hand." But either way, that is going to play a huge part in pretty much anything that happens global trade related in the next however long that the conflict lasts, but also the all the repercussions that are going to happen because of it. So buckle up, shit's getting squirrely. Dicamba. So this is another one I'm gonna have to keep an eye on. I remember reading something about dicamba, and I may have reported on it in an earlier episode, but I'm not real familiar with dicamba, but I know it's something. It's an herbicide they use with cotton. But anyway, it had been approved and then pulled from the market, and now it has been reapproved for use in 26 and 27. So this year and next. The EPA claims it's got the strongest safeguards, yet, but it has a long history of lawsuits dealing with drift and a lot of court fights. So we'll see about that. Why it matters. So when you spray it, the drift hits on neighbors, trees, and specialty crops in particular. You see that a lot in California. It can really have a devastating effect on the crops physically, but also if they're running on organic practices, then that can wipe their entire entire harvest off of the organic program. And so here we go with AI. Desk jockey science versus real world spraying. I did look into that, and I forgot to look further into it. So there we go. In real time, something we'll have to fix next time. I forget what exactly they were trying to say, but this is one that I don't know particularly a whole lot about. So I'm going to have to do some more research, but it is one to keep an eye on. I think in one instance, it's good for the farmers because a lot of them had already purchase the herbicide and also the seed, that because I believe this is stuff that can be sprayed on GMO cotton or something. So, like I said, I don't know enough about it to know where my thoughts on this particular chemical, where my thoughts lie with it. But I do know it was a pretty big one, and pretty controversial, being that it had, like I said, several court fights and had been pulled from the market once, and but now it's back on. And so I will do a better job of reading up on that, and then update you in a future episode. And then this terrible situation out in Texas and Kansas and Oklahoma. It's kind of was one old boy just recovered from the last, or starting to recover from the last wildfire, and got hit again. Hundreds of thousands of acres burned last month. Sustained winds. It's it's February on the high plains. The wind doth blow. 60 to 70 mile an hour sustained winds. And let's face it, it's the high plains. It's always drought conditions, even on a good year, it seems like. That's the 6th year of drought across parts of the plains. Grass fires are rough, man. A lot of cattle dead. Some ranches lost hundreds of head in hours. With the Gardner Angus, decades of genetics wiped out overnight. And there was a lot of euthanizing of burned and smoke damaged cattle. Pastures burned down to dirt. Hay's now over $250 a ton. Supply is tight because it's in a drought. Luckily, hay's kind of cheap out here right now, and but I bet that changes a little bit. A lot of forced liquidations due to this. You see this a lot in drought country. It's pretty tough to run, just to do anything in that part of the world. And when you're dependent on the weather, and the weather lets you down, not a lot you can do. So I hate to see it. I know there's plenty of programs out there, GoFundMe's and charitable events that have happened and will continue to happen to go forward. So if you guys know of any good ones that I should mention, please feel free to shoot me a DM or send me an email, matt@burnin-daylight.com. And I will be sure to highlight after proper vetting, because there's some people are kind of nasty sometimes. So you don't want to promote something where people that aren't doing it for the right reasons end up stealing a bunch of money. So like I said, if you guys know of a good outfit to turn people towards to help out with this, please feel free to let me know, and I'll be sure to shout them out in a future episode. There's been emergency declarations in Oklahoma and Texas, USDA disaster funds, cattle relief funds, and there's some donations. Middle America is very generous, very quick to help a neighbor, and so I'm glad to see that. But the bills come due before the government checks show up. So that's a nice little touch there by Perplexity AI. So hats off to my AI bot. That's not a bad little tagline there. So they're like 1 for 3. That's a solid average in baseball. So hitting 300, 333, about 250 to 333. It could be 1 for 4, 1 for 3. Either way, not bad if you're playing baseball, but we're not playing baseball. So Perplexity's got some work to do. Well, I guess kind of wrap it all up. We got strong cattle prices, but we got higher input costs all the way around, and then like just in general, shit's higher. But now when you have this fuel crunch, which could be a crisis, and I will say that It does look like taking out Maduro, or at least the sequence of events, taking Maduro out first, so we got all of his oil before we go fuck around with Iran. That either one, I don't think were particularly great moves, but I guess in the sequence that they happened, that was probably a better sequence than the other way around. So I guess kudos to them. But either way, it's leading to some real strains, and it could get real squirrely, even more so than it has been. We got a lot of men and women built up in the Middle East. We've lost 7, I believe is the latest number that I've heard. We've lost 7 of our service members. Rest in peace. God be with their families. It's awful. But let's keep all of our troops in mind. I know as much as I don't trust the administration. I don't care for this whole constant warfare state that we've been in. I do support our fighting men and women. I've got a brother-in-law in. I've got a nephew in, and I know of and know plenty others. So y'all stay safe out there wherever you may be stationed. But say a little prayer for our boys and girls out there, and let's hope this thing wraps up quick and they get home safe. But fire, drought, regulations, wars, all stacking up, and I guess this is also not a bad little tagline from Perplexity, so I'll allow it. But from DC headlines to your fence line. But again, please support the producers that are hit by fire and drought. Share the show, send in some stories if you got it, and I will get more into the markets. Cowboy reality. My cowboy reality is I haven't been on a horse in 6 months, and I haven't needed to. I don't know if I've really wanted to. And but it is starting to get warm again a little bit. You know, spring's right almost there, so I'm not opposed to getting back on a horse now. But I stayed the winter inside, and it was okay. I'm okay with that. But I will get some more stories to peruse, and I'm working on getting some more interviews lined up. But little shorty episode to get back on the pony. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and thank you everybody that reached out asking about me. I do appreciate that. It's been a weird six months, but we're all here. We're still alive, and we're still kicking. So let's keep moving forward, and I'll try to keep you informed about the stuff that you may not know about. But I think you might need to, or you might appreciate. So we'll keep doing that. You guys keep making this crazy ass world go round, and we'll catch you on the next one. Now move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Burning daylight. Well, life is just a gather, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. burning daylight. In the south, till the job's done right. Burning daylight.